As technology and education continue to intermingle, distance education has become increasingly looked to as a viable option for K-12 learners. Several options are available for students to engage in distance learning. In the state of Ohio, where I live, there are 24 separate e-schools that are either district or region specific or statewide. With distance learning becoming a realistic possibility for students at the K-12 level, it's important that best practices are both established and used. E-learning is relatively new in the timeline of education, and thus most research available on best practices is limited. A great deal of the research that I encountered has been performed utilizing adult populations rather than K-12 students. However, there is call for best practices from educators working in distance education that's specific to K-12 learning, and that's via Vasquez and Serrani. Rice, in 2009, demonstrated this through the responses of a Delphi panel that was asked to indicate the most important issues in distance education. The panel ranked the establishment of best practices as the second most important issue facing distance education, behind evaluation of course design and delivery, which is the very hallmark of this course. So what then is included in those best practices for distance education? Rice and Greenberg are insistent on two practices in particular. The first being that of student-specific learning opportunities. This includes providing learners with varied assignment types and ways to demonstrate their learning, including multiple modalities for information acquisition. Secondarily, the authors indicate a necessity for collaboration between learners. While knowledge is indeed a personal quest, there is an aspect to learning that requires community. This is most definitely the case in online learning environments, which have a sense of isolation if not adequately accommodating to the collaborative needs of students. The adage of two heads being better than one has held a level of truth for distance education and is extremely important for a well-designed e-learning experience. Now, this ties in nicely with what we've learned throughout this course. As we've worked to create distance learning opportunities through our ISD projects that have a technology-specific foci, we've worked to incorporate many of these aspects in our projects. In doing such, I've thought about what makes our individual projects strong. The two best practices that were identified are critical to an instructional design that's well done. Student-centered learning and collaboration are a must for any learning environment, but are especially impactful in distance education. As I work to improve my own instruction in the classroom, I'm ever more mindful of including such diversity of learning and those collaborative opportunities for my students. These best practices are those that I'm reliant on a day-to-day basis, and I'm also working to grow in, both for myself and for the students that are under my charge.